Isla de Venados in the morning.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very nice. It's not a big island, you know, it's a small little island, but it's got this really cool beach right there.
And as we saw last week, it gets some action. Come around the early afternoon, boats start showing up, and they stayed pretty late until well after sunset, playing music. There was a couple of boats here. Somebody had a tuba out and he was cranking off a bass line and people were singing to it.
Oh, there it is. Mazatlan shoreline at sunrise. Yeah. From Isla Venados.
And my friends Greg and Barb from sailing vessel Grace Note happened to be anchored there at Isla de Venados at the same time, and as I was leaving, they captured this video of me heading off to Puerto Vallarta. Well, I've weighed anchor. I'm just going to start heading south, so I'll show you some parting shots from Mazatlan.
Oh, Mazatlan. I can see a cruise ship back there. Well, we got a cruise ship and what look like two tankers. Looks like they're waiting to get in, or yeah. Motor sailing right now. I don't have a lot of wind. 2.1 knots apparent, and I'm going 2.8, so got another contact out there, and then one pretty far off in the distance, pretty much dead ahead, so a little bit of contact avoidance. And the shoreline of Mazatlan, saying goodbye to Mazatlan. It's a good time, I have to say. There we got condo land up there, and then hotel land, and then Malecon land, and then traditional harbor land, north to south. Well, we don't have a lot of wind right now, but it is pretty much coming from the correct direction. And motor sailing at about 1400 engine RPM. Got a full bag of gas. Got autopilots tracking at 160 true. Auto is keeping it real. Man, I just can't get over what a good time Mazatlan was. You know, when I see all these little islands around Mazatlan, you know, it's not the same as Land's End in Cabo, but I mean, they're still pretty darn cool. I don't think I would be inclined to look at it in a comparative way. I kind of like looking at it in a qualitative way where they're both awesome, where I don't have to place everything I see in a strict hierarchy, you know. Funny, when I sit down here in the cockpit, I get a much better sense for the height of the swell. Like, I'm looking at it now, it looks like it's 1 to 2 feet. The wind is starting to pick up just looking at the wavelets on the water. As I'm starting to clear these rocks and clear the lee of Isla de Venados, the wind's starting to pick up. So I'm going to be sailing real soon. Yeah, here we're looking at, okay, we got a speed of about 2.5, and we're looking at apparent wind at 4. Probably looking at 6 knots, true wind speed. Somewhere in there, 5.9, 6, 6.1, whatever. It's a triangle. and I'm not doing a mow board. Right? What I do is I'm an 80-20 guy. So I just want 80% confidence. So I'm good with a range. I don't need to know the exact number. You got 4 knots apparent, 2.5 speed, and this angle, so apparent's right off the beam, probably 6, 5.8 to 6. That's what I'd say. It's just a practical estimate, you know? There's no need to pull out a maneuvering board and all your tools. Yeah. And you know, it's like we don't teach slide rule anymore. That's not to say it wouldn't be beneficial, but you would do it for familiarization. Like, you're not doing it because you plan on using a slide rule for the rest of your life. Conservative judgment and rules of thumb. You could do most things. Oh, we got a container vessel exiting Mazatlan. Risk of collision doesn't exist here. He's going to have right bearing drift. If he doesn't have it already, he's going to have it real soon when he picks up speed. Now, if he turns right, risk of collision could exist. So, you know, you watch it, but on the other hand, there's a guy right in front of me. It's difficult to tell what he's all about, maybe fishing a boat. But risk of collision definitely exists with this guy. So I have to watch him very closely. Yeah, he's starting to show right bearing drift now. As he picks up speed, you can see, well, I can see, you know, he's throwing more of a weight. Yeah, he's picking up speed, so, and I'm seeing right bearing drift, so he's fast and clear. Still not so much for this guy. He's just somebody I'm gonna have to keep my eye on. Yeah, the tanker just blew by everybody. This guy looks like he's inbound now. He's got left bearing drift real good now. So I'm not worried about him. We're wide open now, baby. Wide open. Well, I always start with, does risk of collision exist? Well, that requires constant bearing. If you have bearing drift, risk of collision doesn't exist. Doesn't mean it can't develop, just means at this moment. So that's the reason why you have to keep a watch, so that you recognize is when it changes. So right now, I don't have risk of collision with anybody. The winds, well, they're forecasted to peak at 20. So usually when that happens, at least around Cabo and going up to La Paz, you were getting 25 plus. You could get 30. You know, the range of error, especially on the gusts, is very high. You know, you think about things like this as the day progresses. How to best optimize your sail. You know, of the things that you understand and are under your control. Some things are not, right? I have the sails I have for this passage. It is what it is. I have this boat with this standing rigging, right? My Uber driver, Abraham, very nice guy. Helped me pick Karen up from the airport, and he took Karen back to the airport. He's the one who mentioned the Machado Plaza. Oh, he said one of the things to do is go to the lighthouse. And I think he means this lighthouse now. Yeah, because look at the view you must have up there. I have to believe that's what he was talking about. I could be wrong, but I mean, that is got to be an incredible view from up there. Well, wind's continuing to freshen. It's now closing in on noon, I think, and we're looking at, yeah, almost 8 knots. Sailing now. Oh yeah. Look at that. Well, bye-bye Mazatlan. It was fun to see you again. Well, we're coming up on sunset, day 1, Mazatlan to, I'm not sure where yet exactly. Maybe Puerto Vallarta, maybe continue on, probably Puerto Vallarta, but I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, probably maybe 30 minutes from sunset right now on starboard tack. Got a reefed main and a Genoa out, and we're making about 4 knots. So they were talking about on the forecast, predict wind was talking about like 19, 20 knots at 2000. I haven't seen that yet, but I mean, You know, it's probably 16, 17 knots. It's close. It's pretty comfortable for this boat if you're not in the trough. I'm struggling with that a little bit of rolling with the trough, but hey.